Direct from the Ed Bernstein Show archives, let's revisit this show from 1995.
Well, we're moving on up to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. Moving on up to the east side.
Hi, I'm Ed Bernstein. Well, 20 years ago, about this time, Sherman Hemsley was on the Jeffersons, on very famous sitcom, and Joe Frazier was probably training for the Thriller in Manila in 75, 20 years ago. And
how about that, 20 years ago?
Now, did you guys ever think that 20 years later, here you would be at the Flamingo Hilton in Las Vegas, Nevada?
That's a further away from my mind would think that we will be together. You know, we have done work together before, but never know we will end up, let's say, here at the Hilton doing the show.
Yeah, but and the show you do have at the Hilton is entitled the Sherman Hemsley Joe Frazier Show, and it's it's kind of a musical comedy review type of show.
Right.
With you providing the musical part, the singing part, and Sherman providing the comedy.
Then we have another group, let's say, relate to the Temptations and stuff.
Yeah, the Master's Touch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you've been singing for a while, Joe, and you sang. You had a hit record a number of years ago.
I've been singing from day one. Not really a hit record, but I had a couple groups from the Smokin Joe Frazier Review to the Knockouts, and it was just fun. You know, it's really big fun, and I've learned to sing from my family and the church, my mom and dad. And
were you in the choir at church?
No, I didn't join the choir. I was a little too wild for that. I want to get back. I just want to get to church, serve the Lord, and out of here. Go back to let's say the gymnasium.
Yeah, and you were doo-wopping in the streets of Philadelphia, probably, right?
That was it. That's what I wanted to do when I was a kid. I wanted to be in a group, but our group used to break up every other day, so we never really got established.
That's how those groups worked in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't everybody have a group in Philadelphia back in the 50s?
Yeah, that was the thing. You know, it was just like every corner just about had a group. West Philly, North Philly. We used to have this little radio show we used to do every Sunday for, that we used to gear up for.
Mm-hmm.
Like little Jimmy Scott started out there, and Esquire, I forget his real name. But a lot of local talent made it big from Philly.
The groups probably only lasted the summer, because in the winter, then it got too cold to hang on the street corners.
No, then we were singing the subway. We could hear the free echo.
And so you were doing that in Philadelphia for a while, and then I guess you decided to try for the big time, New York. And
no, I went out and went into service, and then got away for a while. And came back. Then when I came out of service, I decided that's what I want to start acting. So I started studying and did a lot of theater in Philadelphia. About 7 years, children's theater, and all I could possibly do to get as much experience as I could before I made my trip to New York. Then I was working at the post office at the same time, commuting to New York to study, and finally I made the move.
But you told me you were smart enough to get the job at the Postal Service first.
Oh yeah, I transferred from Philadelphia post office to the New York post office, so I'd have a job and some meals coming in,
And then you did some things on Broadway?
Oh yeah, then I got was in New York a couple of years before I got on Broadway, and I did Pearlie on Broadway, which led to the TV thing.
And you were in Philadelphia in those days also, I guess. I just come to Philadelphia. Did you know each other in Philly?
No.
We met on the road in the show. That's how we, in a musical show. I was hosting it, and Joe was on the bill, and we all became friends. And like Barbara McNair and who were all those?
I think what happened when Sherman left Philadelphia, I moved in. You left about 62?
67.
Yeah, I moved in 62, and let's say started working hard, and from Golden Glove to Olympic champion, let's say on to heavyweight champion of the world.
So you were living in Philly prior to winning the gold medal?
Oh yeah, yes, that's my home. Well, let's say my original home is Beaufort, South Carolina, Marine Base, and then I moved from there up to New York in the wild section. I did a little everything back in them days. It was fun.
Mm-hmm. Was winning that gold medal in '64 still one of the highlights of your career?
I would say winning the gold medal, the life was crazy because I got in the fighting at let's say an early age, late years or whatever down the line, because the first year I went in the gym, I won let's say a gold medal, second year gold medal. Then I went on to the 64 I was only as an alternate. I wasn't supposed to go as a representative of the United States in the gold medal time at the Olympic. Mathis was the guy, but I replaced him and won on a gold medal.
Did you always want to be a boxer from
I
young
always.
as a young kid?
The day from the house with my relative, my dad, and the other gentlemen, let's say my brothers and my uncles, just sit around, the guys would break out a couple of cans of beers, and they'd sit around and watch the Wednesday night fight. I used to come from, I think, High Point, New Jersey, and they had the Pat Blue Ribbon at the time, the Wednesday night fight. And when I walked through the house with my family, we were watching the television, my uncle would tell my dad, that boy gonna be a champion one of these days. And here I am.
All right.
And did you have that same, direction and focus when you were a child, Sherman, that you always wanted to be an entertainer?
Yeah, I always did, but nobody believed me. I mean, nobody, everybody just said, yeah, okay, great. Just get you a job and forget about it. But in the back of my mind, I could always visualize it. And it was something that was up when I was working at the post office, it's always in the back of my mind. You're going to do this, you got to go out there and try. Even if you fail, you got to try, you got to go for it.
Who were some of the inspirations for you at that time?
Inspirations, well, at that time, I don't think it was too many. Well, the movie that got me to decide that I really wanted to do it was Carmen Jones, Harry Belafonte, Dorothy Dandridge. That was the first CinemaScope, all color, all black movie that was out. That was like, boy, there is hope for us, But when I started acting, I didn't know what I was going to be doing. People said, "What kind of part you going to play?" I mean, ain't that many butler roles out there, I said, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go for it.
But it's interesting because you both entered professions that are really very difficult to succeed in. And as children, particularly young boys, I mean, the typical young boy wants to grow up and be an athlete or a fighter or an entertainer, and very few ever make it. And how do you separate, when kids ask you for advice, well, how do I become an entertainer or a boxer? How do you separate, those who may be wasting their time from those who really have the talent?
You don't. It's all up to the person, how bad you want it. If you want it, you'll strive for it, you'll go for it. And if it's for you to do, you'll do it. If it's not, then you'll do something else. Very simple.
Entertaining is just as close to being an athlete that you can come by, because you have to be in shape. You have to rehearsal, you have to practice, you have to train. I love to run, and all that comes with, let's say, your energy. To be able to kick it out and hold the notes, or be able to go 10, 15 rounds in the ring. It's all the same thing. And that's how come the fighters today, I don't care who it is, one time for Rumble, let's get it out of the Rumble. Then you can hear the music playing in the background.
There's a song everywhere.
Everybody got a song.
Yeah, they got their music.
It's the same thing, I mean? The athlete, and let's say the music the beat is there. The timing, 1, 2, 3.
Rhythm,
boom, boom, boom.
It's all rhythm, yeah.
It's all right there. And being coming a large family, we had to sing every Sunday in church. And if you didn't sing in church, when you got back to the house, Mama gonna find out the reason why.
Then you fought.
Then you sing. Why? What happened to the note? Something wrong with your throat that you can't sing, and your mouth. So I grew up in it like that, And music is a timing with bam, 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 boom, 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 boom. It's there, 1, 2, 3, all together.
So I guess the opposite holds true for you.
But
That you're as good a boxer as you are an entertainer.
well, I got rhythm. If I have to fight, I can fight. I'm more of a street fighter. Everything goes.
You have to get it on. Let's get it on, huh?
Yeah.
You know how Philly is, yeah.
Hey, Sherman, you started to say, that you did the Broadway, and then that's when it all happened. Norman Lear, I guess, went to see one of your
Norman Lear
performances.
came to see the show, Pearly, and he just noticed me in the show, and he said he liked something in my personality or my character, the energy, the way I approach character, whatever, something. And he just sort of gave me a screen test, and at the time he didn't have anything for me. So he always kept me in mind. And that's around the same time when he picked up B. Arthur, and Bonnie Franklin. He just went around to all the shows and just kept certain people in mind.
So he didn't have All in the Family
No,
conceived yet, but he had the
he had
actors.
me in mind. He knew he wanted to use me someplace, but I was too young for the father and too old for the son at that time. So when All in the Family did start, they sort of talked about my character for the first 3 years, because by then I was tied up. I didn't know any of this, but they told me when I got out to California that they had been looking for me for, saving that spot for me.
So All in the Family had run for, what, 3 years before you came on? And when they approached you about doing the part, was there any hesitation moving from theater to television?
No, when you do theater, you can do anything.
Yeah.
Theater's the foundation. If you do theater, you can act no matter where it is. Microphones don't mean nothing. They just have to adjust the mics to your voice. But I recommend theater for anybody who wants to get into acting. Start on the stage, and wherever you are in your hometown or whatever, because then you're prepared for everything.
And what did you think about the substance of the part? Playing a successful black actor who was, I guess, you were typecast.
Successful black. I wasn't playing a successful
black businessman. I'm sorry.
Oh.
And it was probably the first casting of a black in that type of role.
Well, I never approached it as a black. I just approached it as a guy who was coming out of it. First, it was like they told me it was a feisty guy, who made it, and then I said, okay, that's cool. But then I was sort of thinking of David Niven in my mind. I said, no, it wouldn't be David Niven. If he came from the streets of Harlem, it would be the same thing like me coming from South Philly. So I sort of patched it together. That's why you make characters. And I thought of people, friends of mine that I grew up with, certain walks, certain attitudes, certain ways to do things. And it's like a Frankenstein kind of situation. You just put the character together, and all of a sudden, one day I said, I got all the ideas, and I just go, boom, okay, hit it. And there it is. And then start building from there. And then they start writing around the character.
So you had a lot of freedom in developing the character.
Because they didn't have no idea where I was going to take it. You just have to give the director something. And once you give them something to work with, then they start writing in that direction. Otherwise, I could have been just a very pompous type guy. But that's not coming from the street. A guy would be.
So was the Wheezy thing? Was that your idea?
Yeah, because I knew a girl when I grew up. Her name was Wheezy.
Can I hear you say that once?
Wheezy. There's so many different ways to say it. Wheezy. Wheezy. I don't know. Everybody asked me to say that, but it just happened.
Also, at that time, I mean, All in the Family was one of the first sitcoms to deal with some very important social issues like abortion and things like that previously hadn't been dealt with before on television. And how did you feel being a part of that?
I felt honored. You kidding? It was like the highlight of my life to work with Carol O'Connor and all those guys. Luckily for me, I worked with the best at the time and got great experience, and I knew how it was the right way to do things. So when we spun off into our show, I knew how it was supposed to be run. Had I started off with maybe a mediocre show, then I would have fallen into bad habits. But I had great training in Philadelphia. I mean, we had a little theater group. We weren't getting paid a dime, but we were very disciplined. All actors are supposed to mind their business. The director does his job, the actors do their job. And actors don't direct other actors on stage. You just let the director handle it. And you just do your job and become a part of the piece. The piece is the play or the show, and that's what you work toward.
How long did you do All in the Family until you had the spin-off of Jeffersons?
I did 2 seasons. We came in at the end of the one season, beginning of the next season. We did 3 shows before they decided to do a spin-off.
And the Jeffersons, what did it follow All in the Family at that time in the time zone?
Yeah, they came on 8. We came on 8:30 for about a year.
And you were both in the top 10 for a number of years.
Yeah. And All in the Family. Then we spun off, and then we went after 5 years on our own. Then we became the #1 show for a long time.
And you did that for, what, 11 years?
Yeah.
Total? Is it, appearing before a studio audience is, I suspect, a little bit different than appearing on stage at the Flamingo in front of a live audience.
No, studio, they're both live. The studio audience, they're live. They're sitting there, they're just up, they're right there. In fact, that's what gets you to get the energy back up. See, like you rehearse for 4 days, and then, by the 4th day, all the stuff that was funny the first day you read it is not funny anymore. So the audience comes and reminds you where the jokes are. Then the timing, you have to remember. If it's a laugh, ha, 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 you got to hold back. It's timing. It's all about timing and rhythm. I do everything on rhythm. I get the rhythm first, then I worry about the words later. Because you can always say words. Anybody can say words, but to get the action going,
it's back to
that's
that
the work. Yeah,
timing.
same thing. Exactly.
And with your audiences, Joe, I suspect the boxing audience is different than the audience at the Flamingo Hotel.
Well, the only thing with boxing is no rerun.
Unfortunately.
There's no rerun. When you mess up, that's it. When you clip the guy, the fight's over. You know what I mean? There's no rehearsal. It's real deal. You know what I mean? Within the gymnasium, we would work hard to make sure our timing is there. Bam, 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 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about the same thing. The beats have to be there, but you just don't get no rerun out there. You know, no, there's no take.
What do you sing in the show?
I does My Way. That Paul Anka wrote some lyric for me in the fight bag.
Oh, he customized the lyrics?
Yeah. Also.
How did he change the lyrics? I'm just curious. Can you give me a line or two?
It says, go like say, and now the time is near, the time is here to check my hopes and prepare to take the dare. Oh man, it's time to climb right through them ropes, and that's so. It goes and goes right on down the line.
It's pretty good.
It tells a good story.
It's a
It tells a good story.
He really sets the mood on that tune. In fact, you know, it's amazing because Joe's got the first two tunes. He's just kicking it, and all of a sudden he brings it down, and you know the people just go
Quiet
off.
down.
You got a nice voice. I mean,
Yeah, he does.
Muhammad Ali used to criticize your voice. I remember years ago, right?
Well, he said he was pretty, so that's why. You know,
He's pretty. He could sing.
it takes a group of people, let's say, for us to run the world. Everybody ain't gonna like your looks. Mine is Sherman, so therefore they might switch to Muhammad looks. You know,
Right.
maybe.
And you do your typical comedy, Sherman, that you've been
I
on
do
stage?
singing, just like I do singing and I do impressions. I do a 50s medley. I do a Run DMC impression, of course, about the way I got the walk. Everybody's always asking me where I got that walk from.
The strut.
Yeah, that just happened. That's
just
when I
happened?
walked like that in Philly. When you walk through a neighborhood, you gotta have attitude. But what happened to me when I was walking in the doorway, I just remember, hey, I'm working.
Attitude, get ready to run.
Yeah, right, exactly.
That walk come with the running.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, like you're walking faster.
Yeah,
Hey man, I
faster,
ain't running. You know what I mean? You're getting ready to run.
Yeah, that's right. But you look like you bad, see. And I was just came up, I was working. You know, I'd be eating regular. So that's where that came from. Anyway, so I do a thing, walk this way type thing, and then I do the James Brown thing, impression of James Brown. And, you know, the girls do their dances, and it's just and I tell stories, do a few monologues and stuff like that.
And
it's all tied in together.
And you still do a little doo-wop.
Yeah, on the 50s medley.
And you also
1,000 Miles Away and all that stuff, huh?
And you created this other musical style, right?
But the zouk, that's just something I picked up. It's just a music I heard.
It's like an African Latin.
It's like
type of
French Latin, because you know we didn't have much from the French.
But what is a zouk?
It's like from Martinique. It's Martinique. It's like a soca in French. You know, soca is Trinidad.
Right.
Zouk is Martinique, the French. And so it's just a French style of Latin. It's just it's a little, just like I said, it's more like soca. You know what soca is, right? Trinidad.
Yeah, kind of.
Calypso.
It's got a little dance thing to it.
And it has a little sort of New Orleans type feel to it. It's, you know, that's because all the French and the Creoles, all that, it's that whole era or whatever.
And you can sing rap also.
Well, I talked before I sang.
Yeah, I like the hubcap.
The hubcap, yeah.
What's the
For a
hubcap?
necklace.
Yeah, you know, the big gold hubcap I wear when I'm running and see walk this way.
This is a kind of a entirely new career in a way for both of you. I mean, it's for you maybe less, Sherman, because this is a derivative of theater. But when you think about where you want to be in 20 years, what are your feelings?
20 years from now?
Yeah.
Live.
Yeah.
Still entertaining?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess 20 years, see. Yeah.
No, 20 years.
77. I guess I could probably be directing or producing or something. If I'm able to, I don't know.
20 years, that's what? Would be,
71? Going on near 80.
71. I was 71. I just want to lay back and watch the young people go in the right direction.
Yeah.
And the guys who lives under our voice, you know, that they be able to lead others in the right direction and look out for the young ones and make sure that they're well trained, well taught to lead others as time go by. That's what I would like to jumping up and down those stage and throwing on boxing gloves and no ropes and nothing. No, 20 years from now,
I like to be better. I like
want
to
to chill out.
Yeah,
we want to chill out.
I like to be a
20
wise
years
old man. I like to be very enlightened and able to just teach.
There you go.
Do you feel that youth today are everybody's complaining that the kids are just terrible today. I think that today that there's a lot of bright spots in kids. I know that you both do spend a lot of time with kids, work with kids, and you have that gym. And what are your feelings? You're talking about 20 years from now. You like to see the youth, watch them grow, watch them develop. Are you optimistic about that?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
We speak about role models, both around the country and the world. My role model was my mom and my dad. I mean, I live under their voice, daughter, and learn how to love, respect people. They are my role models. Guys that wants to be champion, like Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano, those great guys at the Charles, Sugar Ray Robinson, yes, but role model were my dad and my mom. My dad was a hard worker. He had a lot of kids. He took good care of us, and somewhat wild too, a bootlegger, you name it. But he was my dad, and I wouldn't want to be like nobody but my daddy, because he was a great guy. And you live under that voice every day, that pointing you, showing you in the right direction, how to handle yourself. I mean, ain't no more other role model I would love to be like, but dad and mom.
Your parents still alive?
No, my dad passed, 65, but mom's still around. I think mom could run faster than you and I. She's 90.
Well, to be chasing you, she probably has a lot of practice. But how about your kids? I know you encouraged your children to go into boxing.
I got some good gang, no doubt about it. They are super. Marvis looked identical like me, and this guy's a minister. I don't know where he got that from, but
your mom.
But he's a good guy. A few daughters. One's a lawyer. They run works for Blue Shield, Blue Cross, and they are great kids, man. And the reason why they're great, because number one, I come from a great family, from dad and mom, and whatever they taught in the house, I listened and learned. So when I become a man, I know what to do with my kids. And this is what we need more, guidance in the home, as fathers and mother. Within the time I was fighting, I did take time to kick a little butt if I had to, I come home and straighten things out, no doubt about that. And I think we need more fathers like that in the world.
You both came from...
Nothing.
Well, that wasn't a question, but
Okay.
It's a good start.
That was good.
Well, you went from nothing to being very successful
Yeah.
in certain industries. Your success, Sherman, really has come from the TV industry, the highlight of your success, at least from a commercial standpoint, and yours, Joe, from boxing. And now you both are involved in this musical entertainment career. Do you find that people have a difficult time taking you as seriously as you should be taken, not knowing
because
about...
everybody thinks you're only allowed one thing in your life. You're only allowed to do one thing, That's, of course, only for black, you're only allowed to do one thing. But, but if you're not, you can do anything, and then you're a genius, But, it's just the way it is. People don't even take me serious as a dramatic actor, and drama is like a snap compared. Anybody can make you sad, cry, but when you're a comedy actor, they figure that's all you can do. So I'm considered a comedic actor.
Would you like to do now some drama in movies?
Just show everybody, they don't take you serious until you do something serious. Until I do something serious, I'm just George Jefferson, which is cool because it's always been a challenge all my life. Everything I've ever done has always been a challenge.
So you would like to do some I guess, commercial type of film, you can do some drama roles.
Just to show how that's no big deal.
No, I'm sure you can do it. I'm surprised I'm not knocking at your door. And
I'm just a handy man, Whatever come, I can do it. I'd say I lived with my dad. I went from my mother's body to my daddy's arm, and I tried to learn, let's say, everything there is in life to learn, let's say, and do. And once you be able to work hard at it, you can do anything.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The music always been there. I've learned to sing in the church with my family, and just decided, yeah, I've been a heavyweight champion
If he
of the world.
had been a singer first, if he'd have been a singer first, then he'd have been move over James Brown. You know?
Then he wouldn't be taking him serious as a boxer if he was a singer first, right?
Well,
no, you can't box. He's a singer.
When you see him, man, he's got a lot of energy, a lot of.
Yeah.
It's a little teeny weeny bit different, okay? Leaving from singing and going to boxing, it's a different pattern altogether because being an athlete is for a young man. Mm-hmm. And therefore you have to run, you have to train, you understand? Mm-hmm. And the time I did go to school with Mr. Carlo Minotti for a while to learn how to breathe, hold my notes and stuff, you know? Mm-hmm. But the energy all come with condition. And once you get conditioned there, hey, and you can hold the winds and whatever, you could turn your voice any way you want with no problem. But your condition have to be there one. Mm-hmm. And once you're out of shape, nothing might don't work.
When you look back upon your boxing career, what was the most important moment for you?
Well, I got so much great moments in boxing, you know what I mean? I don't want to start off, but I could knock a few of them at you. Number one, the gold medal in Tokyo. Mm-hmm. Number two, I would say beat the mouth, the greatest, took him out. Let's say, and I still walk around trying to figure out what happened to George and I. Mm-hmm. So therefore, maybe I'll dream about it on the day, and I'll go to church and preach a sermon for him, you know what I mean?
Well, he's another guy that made that transition
he's doing a great job.
Boxing to entertainment.
It just goes to show you that by being a top athlete and stays in shape, anything can happen. Mm-hmm. Now, here's a guy like 47 years old, and he's a champion of the world. Mm-hmm. And that just show you that men are greater today than yesterday. We got planes, we've been on the moon a couple times already. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they talking up there, floating around in the air, walking around. Right? So men got to be better today than yesterday. And
these are
great moments.
And these are two gentlemen who have always worked hard and kept working and pushing and plugging. And you can catch them at the Flamingo Hilton. It's the Sherman Hemsley, Joe Frazier show. I almost said George Foreman. But then again, I almost said Sherman Hemsley. But he's not related to her. It's a different spelling entirely. And so catch him at the Flamingo, and we'll see you next week on The First Step.
We're moving on up to the east side, to a deep